Pregnant and rich boyfriend thinks I'm trying to trap him for money. Recently found out I'm 26F, pregnant and I don't want to have an abortion. I've had an abortion many years ago and always deeply regretted it and told myself never again. But he, 29M, wants me to get an abortion. When we spoke on the phone he pretty much said, and I'm paraphrasing, "Listen, I'm not ready to be a father. I'm not judging you, I understand what this is, I've been through this before. We don't have to make it difficult, we'll go to the bank and I'm wire you a fair amount." He wanted to pay me to get the abortion because he thinks all I want is money. I know that he's been extorted by women in the past. They see the mansion, multiple cars and etc. and make their own motives. My feelings are deeply hurt that he thinks that about me, but I don't want an abortion, but I don't want to have a baby with a man who feels as if I trapped him. I'm not rich or wealthy, but I work and do okay for myself. I'm not plotting some evil play on his money. I'm very confused right now and what I should do. After my first abortion I was very depressed and regretted it a lot. And how can I move past what he said on the phone if I decide to not get it? Too long did not read. He thinks I want his money because I don't want abortion. He offered me money to get the abortion. It's your choice, but prepare for him not to be around. Have you heard of birth control? Stupid is as stupid does Forrest Gump. Don't let yourself be pressured into an abortion. If you want to raise this child, then do so. Take the money, have the baby, never talk to him again. Or have an abortion and continue on with whatever you'd like to do with or without him. But the real question is, are you ready to be a mother? If the dick spits, you must acquit. Keep your baby. People do it all the time. You already knew how you felt before this happened. Your baby will add so much joy to your life. It might be hard, but it will be worth it. He should have tried harder to get neutered. He didn't get you pregnant. It's not like you held a gun to his head. Take the abortion money and keep the baby. Wait, so your boyfriend is rich and pregnant? That's a keeper right there. When we spoke on the phone he pretty much said, and I'm paraphrasing, "Listen, I'm not ready to be a father. I'm not judging you, I understand what this is, I've been through this before. We don't have to make it difficult, we'll go to the bank and I'm wire you a fair amount, and #X200B. There's a lot to unpack in that remark, isn't there? Anyone this wealthy could freeze his supermarket and get a vasectomy to avoid unwanted pregnancy. This guy is a major you-know-what. Single parenthood is the option, and he can rot alone in his mansion because he didn't take responsibility for protecting his wealth. Take the money, pretend you aborted, dump his weird ass, and use that money to help pay for your baby's expenses. Smiling face with hearts. Also, it sucks for men that they don't get a choice in the abortion. There should be a law where if a man wanted an abortion, he shouldn't have to pay child support. 'Cause it's not fair, it's all the women's choice. What else is he supposed to think? I'm skeptical myself, quite honestly. But who cares what others think? I mean, would it matter if everyone thought you were trying to keep the baby, for the right reasons? Your decision still wouldn't change, so who cares? And stop allowing yourself to get knocked up. So, if you were worried about having another abortion and all and he doesn't want kids. How did you end up impregnated by him? Do you both just not use birth control, or? I'd get the abortion. Planet is already way overpopulated. And why would you want a kid with someone who doesn't want it? Sounds like a terrible situation. Dump him and find someone who wants kids. Why did you regret the first abortion? Was it because you really wanted a kid? Was it because much of your society has pressured you into feeling abortions are immoral? Or something else? I'm not necessarily encouraging you to get an abortion if you don't want one, but neither are all forms of regret and shame we feel justified. In fact, many are not. And some of the most unjustified experiences of feeling shame, regret, guilt revolve around gender and sexuality. Did you even tell him that if your birth control fails that you would not abort? Get an attorney. Raise your child. When you have it he will change his opinion and want custody. Be careful. People should really talk about what they plan to do in case they end up with a pregnancy before they have sex. If you want this baby, which is perfectly okay, you need to prepare yourself to be a single parent. He wants to pay you off, he doesn't want to parent with you. But do whatever feels right for you. Being a single parent is hard, but not impossible, many have done it. Just don't be coerced into something you will regret later on. If you are ready to have sex, you gotta be ready to be a parent, dude. If he doesn't want to be a parent and refuses to support the baby, then there isn't much you can do except sue for child support once the baby arrives, or hope he changes his mind or tell him to sign away his rights. All three are gonna suck because they essentially leave you to raise your baby alone, but if you can manage it and have a good support system, then you go, girl. It's sad he thinks that way, but it says more about the people he has surrounded himself with before. Hope you get a resolution. Dude's not gonna stick around. Think hard about the possibility of being a single mom, because chances are he's gonna ghost. You'll probably have to drag him to court for child support too. What an ass. If you can and want to have the baby by yourself, have it. Try to make him understand the situation. And he'll have to pay child support. He's the one who didn't put a frigging condom on. He should be made accountable. Be strong and find support elsewhere, parents, siblings, friends, etc. Best of luck. You don't move past what he said on the phone. He made himself clear, you know exactly his stance. Now, you need to decide what is best for you. Have the baby, but be prepared to be a single parent and never hear from the boyfriend ever again. Don't expect him to be involved whatsoever. Just think about your needs and what's best for you. Tell him you respect his decision, but you are keeping the baby without him and want to break up. It's clear you don't want to raise a child with him anyway, and he's been hurtful enough not to be able to come back from this, so there's no chance at a relationship. Since you are prepared to do this on your own, let him know he doesn't need to get involved financially and that basically he can consider himself a sperm donor with no rights or responsibilities toward the child. Your body and your choice. If he wasn't ready to be a father, then he shouldn't be having raw sex. If you want to keep the baby, then you should. And yes, he will owe child support as the father regardless of whether he chooses to be active in the life of his child. Not selfish of you to keep it, but don't expect him to be helping out. Keep it and leech off child support. You'll be set financially for the next 18 years. He's been wrong so many times in his life and has some trust and probably commitment issues. Either show him different or be prepared to be a single mom. Most guys wouldn't want to date a single mother. At the end of the day, you both have a choice. You have the choice to keep the baby, and he also has the choice to not be involved in the baby's life, including financially. If you keep the baby, make sure you are okay with raising a kid on your own without financial support from him. If you want this child, talk to a lawyer and figure out what happens if one parent gives up parental rights. I think he'll still have to make child support payments, but at least there's no danger of him suddenly wanting contact and custody some 10 years down the line, and he will have way more money to be able to afford a lawyer to fight you on that. Sort all that out and cut him off completely. If you want this child, you're accepting the reality of becoming a single mum, so start getting everything ready. Look, everyone will downvote me, but I completely understand your BF. Unless you have not been using protection, the fact that you are pregnant is a huge surprise and had little chance. He has money. Heck, I am a woman and my previous boyfriend dated me mainly because my family is on the wealthier side. If I were him, I would also not believe you, again, unless you two were irresponsible and just didn't use protection. The fact you refuse to abort or adopt out also is a red flag for him. Because this apparent accident now will make him pay for the next 18 years. You can always have an open adoption so you can be a part of the baby's life. I am so sorry, but I think you should have another abortion and break up with this guy. He's made it clear that he will not be a parent. Take his money for the abortion and never see him again. I'm not even going to comment on that first thing because I think it's incredibly irresponsible for two adults to lay down and have consensual sex without discussing the possibility that one might get pregnant. And what both parties would want to do if that happens. I honestly have no advice handle this or what I would do in your situation. I guess you should just follow your heart and do what you think is ethically best. He doesn't have to be a dad, but he does have to pay child support. You can either be a single parent with child support, or get the abortion and figure out what's next. I mean, if he never wanted a kid and isn't ready, then nothing is gonna change that. He has every right not to want to be involved, just like you have every right to keep your child. Make sure to get the child support. You're going to have to accept that he won't be there, just like he has to accept that he has a child against his wishes. Leave and don't look back. You want this baby, he doesn't. He can't think much of you if he believes you would intentionally trap him. It won't be easy with him not around, but lots of women raise happy kids with no help from the father. Show him you don't need him. Have your baby. Make sure you take that child support money. It's for your child. He doesn't have to be involved beyond that if he doesn't want to. The first question I would ask is the only reason you're not getting an abortion is because you regretted it last time? Second question would be, do you want the baby? Third, have you considered giving it up for adoption? There are a lot of families out there that can't have kids that would live your child unconditionally. You need to follow your own gut, with or without him. His saying you should get an abortion is the least important factor. You haven't trapped him. You are going to be a single mother, and he is going to provide financial support, but not be relevant beyond that. Do what is best for you and the baby. You were depressed and regretful after getting your first abortion. Don't compromise your mental health to be with a guy who wants to bribe you into getting an abortion. You said you do okay for yourself. If you are financially capable and ready to become a parent, I think you should have the baby. If you do, maybe he'll see that you're not using him for his money, maybe he won't. Either way, you do need to be prepared to raise this child as a single mother. You can always ask your friends and family to help babysit, etc. If any of my family or friends had a baby, I would be glad to help them out. I am sure your family and friends will do the same for you. Stay strong heart. Be fair to the baby. If the father is out of the picture, mentally, emotionally and financially, are you in a position to have a kid on your own? Can you provide for both of you? Do you have a solid support system? Despite the trauma from before, doing the opposite does not guarantee happiness. Think very carefully. I'd ask myself if I'm ready to be a single parent with a boyfriend like that. I'm so sorry, but this isn't gonna go well. And for once, can you think about the child's future instead of your feelings? It's not just about you or him and his money. The child you're carrying should have a happy, healthy, stress-free life. Why would you even consider going through a situation where everyone lose anyway? Be smart and logic. Feelings can heal over time, but this child can end up resenting you and the dad because you decided to put your feelings before a child's mental state and future. Be reasonable and considerate. Quite honestly, as a woman now nearing 30, I've never regretted not getting married or having a baby with any of the horrific men who made appearances in my 20s. I don't look back and think, gee, wish I'd walked down the aisle for that one guy who told me he wanted to have sex with me while I was asleep, or if only I'd had a child with Andy from accounts payable who assaulted a cop. You know what I'm saying. You can do whatever you want, but I don't know what's so great about having a kid with some deadbeat father. If you don't have his baby, then he just becomes part of your past and you have no ties to him. If you have the kid, he's your permanent baby daddy, forever. I'd pass on this if I were you. You'll likely have other opportunities in the future to start a family. Your life, your mental health, and your body matters a whole hell of a lot more than his opinion of you. If you want to go through with the pregnancy, fuck his feelings and go through with it. If he's seriously that afraid of being extorted, then maybe he shouldn't have gotten into a relationship. But be prepared to possibly have to go through these next 18 years without him. He may come to his senses or he might continue being selfish and delusional. Either way, do what you want.